What those Cambodian doctors knew intuitively is what the World Health Organization has been trying to tell us for years, right? That depression is a response to things going wrong, to deep unmet needs. And I just want to give you one example of an antidepressant that I think helps to remedy some of these deep problems. There was an experiment in Canada in the 1970s. The Canadian government did this quite bold thing. They chose a town at random. It's a town called Dauphin. And they said to a really big group of people in this town, from now on, we're going to give you a guaranteed income. We're going to give you the equivalent of, in today's money, 15,000 US dollars. There's nothing you have to do for it, and there's nothing you can do that means we'll take this away. We just want you to have a nice life, right? And for 3 years they did this until a Conservative government came in and got rid of it. And it was monitored by an amazing woman I interviewed called Dr. Evelyn Forget to see what happened, right? Loads of interesting things happened. People spent more time with their kids. No one stopped working, but lots of people turned down shitty jobs and waited for better jobs, so work standards improved. But the biggest thing that happened, and the most important, is there was a massive fall in depression and anxiety. Depression that was so severe people had to be hospitalized fell by 9% in 3 years. You won't find a drug anywhere in the world that has a fall like that, produces a fall like that, right? And as Dr. Forget said to me, it's an antidepressant. More than half of all Americans don't have $500 in the bank for if a crisis comes along, right? Anyone here not feel anxious when they imagine that scenario, right? It deals with some of the deep underlying anxiety, and what it does is it buys us time to begin to reconnect. So if you say to people now, you know, one of my closest relatives is a struggling single mother who is fighting to pay the rent, right? When she gets home, she collapses in front of the television. The idea of saying to her, your job now is to democratize your workplace and fight for a universal basic income, it would be ridiculous, right? What a universal basic income does is it buys people time. And it's a really potent antidepressant. It's one of the 7 different kinds of antidepressant that I talk about. But I don't think we need to be hopeless and pessimistic, because I think the insights that lead to this change, firstly, if 1 in 5 of your fellow citizens are taking a psychiatric drug, it's very hard for anyone to deny something's gone terribly wrong. If the most powerful person in the world is Donald Trump, it's quite hard to deny something's gone terribly wrong. We know it's just about opening up a different story about how we can bond together and fight for change.